All right, welcome to Money Never Sleeps. This is a show where we talk about anything and everything that impacts the flow of money from around the corner to around the world. And I want to thank you for tuning in. This is going to be a quick session here. I wanted to talk about cryptocurrency and regulation. I've been speaking about it on the show for some time, but I want to get a little further into it. We have commentary that's coming from some prominent people. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, they're going more mainstream. You see it happening more and more. The issue at hand is, how do people perceive it? Regulation is going to be needed in order to keep everything in order. All right. There was commentary that the U.S. government may ban Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I don't see that happening because this is something that's global. Okay, way back when we're on the gold standard, yeah, they stopped people from personally owning gold, but that's something a long time ago. Was it 80 years? Some whatever amount of years it was a long time ago. The bottom line is that you can't go and take regulation from way back when and think it applies today. We're in a different world. The digital future is ahead of us. It's ahead of us, and you're going to see more and more changes happening. And the governments have to, the regulators have to step up their game in order to make things better, not worse, not go and crimp things, not prevent things from happening, not go and try to block the progress, but be a part of the solution. Be a part of the solution. All right, Peter Thiel, you know who he is. He was out there. He was at the Nixon Foundation conference, and he was speaking about Bitcoin and what China does and how China is looking to weaponize Bitcoin against the U.S. dollar and all that other stuff. I want to say this. I want to say this. Bitcoin is not a currency. It's a store of value. Okay, no currency has that type of fluctuation. No currency goes up 20% and goes down 30%, it goes up 5 and 10. It doesn't happen. It's a store of value. When the utility starts coming in more and more, and it's going to come in fast and furious, that value is going to be increased because you only have a limited supply of Bitcoin out there. Okay, and if the demand is there, supply and demand, and so on and so forth. All right, now you have Tesla. Elon Musk, Tesla took a $1.5 billion position, which now is probably worth, 2-3 billion, but on the books he can't say it as such. They can't, and any growth, any value, any growth value that happens there, they can't put that on the books. But they're doing something interesting. They're allowing people to use Bitcoin to buy Tesla. So there goes the utility. You have things going on there. So it's less of a currency and more, again, of a store of value, something that you can utilize to exchange for something else. Kind of like beads for Manhattan or things of that nature. Okay, tulips for land. This is what's happening. The currency itself, like the U.S. dollar, is you won't see those type of fluctuations. There are certain characteristics when it comes to currency, to actual currency. Okay, now stable coins, they're stable. Where are they going? They're stable. It's not seen as an investment. Okay, Bitcoin, people get involved with it because they see it as an investment. If you take 10 people that know what Bitcoin is, you take 10 of them, you ask 10 of them, what would you, if you had a Bitcoin, what would you do? Some may say sell it. I think majorities would say hold it because if they feel that the growth potential is going to be there, then they'll hold on to it so it accrues in value. So there goes the investment prospect there. The reality is that when you're looking at this, it kind of throws me off when you have prominent people looking at Bitcoin and saying it's a currency, because if it was a currency, people would be utilizing it all over the place. If it was a stable coin, it wouldn't have all the hoopla. Bitcoin itself, again, is a store of value, and I think that it's going to increase in value over time. That's my personal opinion. with the supply and demand. And as the utility comes in, and I keep saying it over and over, I've been saying this for the longest time, the utility, once that utility comes in and people start doing that, using it, and creating that utility, it becomes interesting because Tesla is creating that utility and they're doing it in an interesting way. You have that Coinbase is going doing a direct listing. I think in the next few days or next week or something like that, and that's going to be a publicly traded exchange, a cryptocurrency exchange. That changes things. Okay, you have Jamie Dimon. He made mention of banks, traditional banks losing momentum. They're going to be losing market share to the neobanks, to other banking institutions, other fintech companies. Again, you have Amazon, Apple, Google, you have Facebook, you have Walmart, you have other companies that are in this space, and they have their customers. They're giving them the services they would get at a bank, but maybe it's not in person. So things evolve, and the banking system needs to evolve. It needs to, because if not, you're talking about dinosaurs or the Walking Dead at some point. Okay, they need to evolve. The digital age is in front of us. I don't care what anyone says. The digital future is there. You're going to have artificial intelligence at the forefront. AR, VR, blockchain is going to be there. These systems are part of our future that's yet to be, and it's going to be. Trust me on that. It's going to be. So when you're looking at cryptocurrency, you need regulation. You need regulation. Now, what is that regulation going to look like? I don't know. Is this something that's going to happen overnight? Doubtful. You need some really smart people that understand what it is and what's going on to regulate. Okay, because if you have cryptocurrencies that exist now, that have been around for a few years, you can't kick them out. You can't go and eliminate them if people own them. Okay, all you can do is make it include that into whatever regulations that's going to come forth. All right, and utilizing cryptocurrency, it can be a savings to businesses. And you have, like, MoneyGram was utilizing it, with Ripple to make transactions happen quicker, and that's why they were able to offer things cheaper than, let's say, a Western Union, where Western Union would charge you what? Let's say you sent $500 somewhere, and they would charge you probably $30, somewhere in that range, right? Maybe more than that. Okay, where MoneyGram would only charge you, $5, $7, something like that. So, there's a core savings there. And again, it's an immutable situation when it transpires. I see more banks incorporating blockchain into into what they do, into their core. Fintech companies, they're rising. The rise of the fintech companies will continue. Will continue. You're going to see it. You see it with Square built up. People said Jack Dorsey, Square. He's a Twitter. He runs Twitter. What's he doing in finances and the fintech industry? Well, they're not saying too much now. They're looking at it like, wow. You look at what's going on with SoFi. You look at what's going on with Stripe and other platforms that are out there. PayPal is like a Western Union type of thing, and their fees are ridiculous. So all this is supposed to be cost saving, supposed to save people money. So you reduce the fees. Does Square make money? Sure. Stripe, everything else, they make money. Sure. But if you're using, digital assets as they're allowing to use now, it's going to be cost savings to people. And again, I think more of that's going to happen. But again, regulation, they have to keep things in check to avoid the bad actors from running the land. Okay, Bitcoin will be that flagship cryptocurrency. But again, is it ever going to be an actual currency that you would use every day? My answer is no, because if it's trading, and it takes time for these things to settle. Bitcoin, first of all, the Bitcoin mining, the impact that their carbon footprint at this point is ridiculous. It takes a tremendous amount of power to mine for a coin now. In the beginning, not so much. Now, I mean, forget about it. Forget about it. Tremendous amount of power, and again, you have what 18 almost well like 18,700 something like that, or 18,700,000. Sorry, 18,700,000. Bitcoin that are out there now. So you have what another, you know, what 1 point something or maybe 2 million Bitcoin left to mine. Okay, it's going to come to a point that it's going to hit its cap. When it hits its cap, that's it. Now you're trading it, so that value is just going to incrementally go up over time, as long as the utility is built around it. Doesn't mean that Bitcoin itself is going to be in Pluto, but you have some smart people that'll leverage it to create other utilities for it. Anyway, I wanted to talk about that because Peter Thiel had a theory, and I thought, hey, it's interesting. Do I agree with it? Hmm. Some parts of it I get. Other parts no. Because I can't see China weaponizing Bitcoin to devalue the U.S. dollar. Because if people are thinking that Bitcoin is going to replace the U.S. dollar, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen on any day of any time of any year of anywhere, because Bitcoin is a store of value. And it's a beautiful thing because it can accrue in value. So for investors that have a high tolerance for risk, that may be a good play for you. But to go use it to go buy milk and bread and everything, I don't see that happening. You have stable coins for that, and that's why you have other other exchanges that go and they have their own internal stable coin to offset that. And there are other things going on there, accounting wise and legal wise, and you just have to do your research. I'll try to bring that on the show now and again, but I think that we're going to be seeing that regulation come down the pike, and when it does happen, it's going to be very, very interesting. All right, but anyway, I want to thank everyone for tuning in and watching the show. Look, we're going to be bringing more and more to the table as we move along. I'm looking to have guests on the show. I don't know who I'll wind up bringing on, but we'll see how that works out. I do this show so that I can share whatever knowledge, whatever I can put out there that can help one person to get a greater insight into something. This is why I'll talk about different things. I'm not talking about any particular stock or company. I may at times, depends on what it is. Okay, but other than that, I'm coming in with general information that may be helpful to someone. May be helpful. This is why we do the pods. This is why we do the podcast. This is why we do the videos. This is why we do this, and we're going to continue to do it. All right. Anyway, on that note, I want you guys to have a fantastic Thursday, and I'll be back with you with another segment of Money Never Sleeps. Thank you for tuning in.